In a previous Dune lore video, I talked about sandworms, but this video, I want to specifically talk about sandworm riding, which was discovered on accident by the Fremen, who are the natives of Arrakis, or the planet Dune. Okay, so I just want to jump into the story of how the Fremen learned how to ride sandworms, because it was actually on accident, and it took a little bit for them to get it down pat. Roughly 3,000 years before the main Dune book and the movie coming out this December, please go watch it because I need more Dune movies and content in general. Wink wink, nudge nudge, shove shove. So roughly 3,000 years before the book and the movie coming out this December, the Fremen discovered worm riding quite by accident. The story goes that a group of Fremen were investigating a new spice sand spot when a large sandworm appeared very close to them. Terrified, the group ran to the safety of a nearby outcropping of rocks before the worm could get too close. Which, by the way, side note, in case of sandworms, always get to your nearest outcroppings of rocks in a state of emergency, if you're, I guess, ever on Arrakis, because that would happen. However, with their party, there was one person, a young man named Rothar, who was too stunned to move with his companions to the rocks in safety. This resulted in him being paralyzed to the spot as the worm emerged from the sand centimeters from him. Now, historians aren't positive on this, maybe to miss the sandworm's frankly terrifying teeth, as you probably know if you watched my sandworm video, or maybe just in a stupid moment of fear, the man decided to grab the edge of one of the worm's ring segments. Whatever the reason, he was one lucky bastard. Seriously. When he grabbed the segment, it caused the worm to roll over and put the segment being held by Rothar in the air, resulting in the man sitting atop the worm as it traveled through the desert. And that's how the Fremen figured out, by opening a scale on a sandworm, it would turn to keep that scale exposed towards the sky until the scale was put back into place. Now, did Rothar live through this little adventure? Probably. And within days, the first maker hooks, or hooks designed to catch and hold open the edge of a worm's skin segments, were created. These maker hooks were used to open a scale on the sandworm, though they were very crude first tools. Obviously, as you're developing things, you make them better and better. And I guess not surprisingly, there were a lot of volunteers that wanted the chance to become a Sandrider or a Worm Rider, and the earliest Worm Riders refined the techniques to make it so others could ride a lot more safely. Eventually, even learning that they could control the worm's lateral movement by attaching maker hooks to them and pulling forcibly to change direction. Though definitely a lot of Fremen died trying to figure it out so other people could ride them safely. We salute you, sirs. And/or madams. Sorry, that was slightly sexist, wasn't it? But in a single generation, they learned safe and effective means to be a worm rider, and thus began their means of travel. And this is kind of interesting. Soon they were chill enough with it that they decided they needed to make a custom or a tradition out of 12-year-olds doing a sandworm call and ride where they controlled it as a rite of passage. I wouldn't trust a 12-year-old with a glue stick, but, you know, I guess good on them that they trust their youth. So what do you think about this story? Would you be down to ride a sandworm, especially if it was generations in the future where they had it down pat like we see in the Dune book? Or are you with me where it's, yeah, no,